I caught my wife cheating red-handed. She expected a fight. I just said, if you want to go, go. Then I let her leave without drama, while my lawyer prepared airtight divorce papers with all evidence documented. Her smug victory turned to shock when she realized her affair cost her everything in court. I, 36 male, walked in on my wife 33 with her coworker in our bed 3 weeks ago. Tuesday afternoon, I'd left work early because I had a migraine and just wanted to lie down. Heard noises upstairs. My first thought was, did we get robbed? Then I heard her laugh. That specific laugh she does when she's, Opened the bedroom door. There they were. Didn't even hear me come in at first. When they finally noticed me standing there, my wife went white. The guy, her coworker from the accounting firm, scrambled for his clothes, stammering apologies. My wife pulled the sheet up, already starting with, "This isn't what it looks like." I held up my hand. "Stop. Just stop." She blinked, probably expected me to yell, "Throw things. Lose it." Instead I said, "If you want to go, go. I'm not stopping you." "What? You heard me. If this is what you want, if he's what you want, then leave. I'm not going to beg you to stay or fight for someone who clearly doesn't want to be here." Her coworker was already dressed, edging toward the door. I stepped aside. "You can leave too. I'm not going to hit you or whatever you're worried about. Just go." He practically ran. My wife sat there, sheet clutched to her chest, looking confused. "You're really just letting me leave? What did you expect? A dramatic confrontation? Crying? Begging? Nah, I'm not doing that. You made your choice. Live with it." She got dressed. The whole time I think she was waiting for me to break down or start yelling. I didn't. Just stood there, arms crossed, watching her pack a bag. "That's it? You're not even gonna fight for us?" She actually sounded offended. "There is no us to fight for. You ended that about 20 minutes ago." She left. Went to her sister's place, I found out later. Here's what she didn't know. I'd already been suspicious for about 2 months. She'd been working late more often. Changed her phone passcode. Got defensive when I asked simple questions about her day. Classic signs. So 3 weeks before I walked in on them, I'd already talked to a lawyer, not because I wanted a divorce, but because I wanted to know my options if things went south. The lawyer told me that in our state, adultery can impact asset division and alimony. But you need proof, solid proof. When I walked in on them that Tuesday, I didn't lose my mind. I pulled out my phone and took photos. Multiple angles, time-stamped, clear faces, everything documented. While my wife was getting dressed, I texted those photos to myself from 3 different angles, backed them up to cloud storage immediately. Then I let her leave. Calm, collected, like I didn't care. She thought she'd won. Thought she'd get to have her affair, leave the marriage on her terms, and I'd just roll over. Wrong. The day after she left, I called my lawyer. "I have evidence. Let's file." We filed for divorce Friday morning. Cited adultery with photographic evidence. Requested she get nothing from the marital assets except what she came into the marriage with. The papers were served to her at her sister's house Monday. According to her sister, who's actually been pretty cool about this whole thing, my wife completely freaked out. She called me. I didn't answer. She texted, "We need to talk about this. You can't just file for divorce without discussing it with me first." I replied, "You didn't discuss sleeping with your coworker before doing it. I don't owe you a conversation." Her, "This is ridiculous. We can work this out. It was a mistake." Me, "Talk to your lawyer. That's what mine said to tell you." Blocked her number. All communication now goes through attorneys. Here's the thing. I'm not happy about this. I loved her. We'd been married 7 years. I thought we were building a life together. But I also know my worth. And I'm not going to fight for someone who threw away our marriage for some office affair. People keep asking if I'm okay. Honestly, not really. But I will be. Right now, I'm just focused on getting through this divorce and moving on. Update 1, 2 weeks later. The divorce process is moving faster than I expected. My lawyer is good. Really good. My wife hired an attorney. Her sister apparently helped pay for it since my wife doesn't have much savings. I'll get to that. Her lawyer reached out to mine with a settlement proposal. They wanted 50% of the house, which I owned before marriage, 50% of my 401k, alimony for 5 years, half of my business. I own a small contracting company. Her car paid off. It's in my name. She makes the payments. My lawyer literally laughed, then sent back our counteroffer. She gets her personal belongings, her car, with her taking over payments immediately, nothing else. The photos I took were attached to the filing, time-stamped, undeniable. In our state, adultery is a factor in equitable distribution. Basically means the cheater doesn't get an equal split, especially when there's proof. Her lawyer called my lawyer. Apparently my wife had downplayed the whole caught in bed with coworker thing, told her attorney it was one mistake and he overreacted. My lawyer sent over the photos. Her attorney went quiet. But here's where it gets interesting. My wife's coworker? Turns out he's married too, with kids. And his wife didn't know about the affair. I didn't tell her. But my wife's sister did. Apparently, the sister was pissed that my wife brought this drama into her house and decided everyone should face consequences equally. The coworker's wife called me. Wanted to know if I had proof her husband was cheating. I told her to have her lawyer contact mine. Now there are 2 divorces happening, and the coworker's wife is using my evidence in her case too. The coworker got fired. Their company has a strict no relationship between employees policy, and once HR found out, anonymous tip, no idea who, they let both of them go. So my wife lost her job, lost her marriage, lost her affair partner, all in 3 weeks. Her sister called me last week. She's a mess. Can you at least talk to her? Why? Because you were married for 7 years. Because she's depressed and not eating. Because she's family. She stopped being family when she brought someone else into our bed. She made her choices. Now she gets to live with them. You're being cruel. No, I'm being realistic. She wants sympathy for facing consequences of her own actions, not from me. Her sister sighed. She says you're trying to take everything from her. I'm not taking anything. I'm keeping what's mine and giving her what's hers. That's how divorce works when you cheat. Hung up. Blocked her sister's number too. Yesterday, my wife showed up at the house. I'd changed the locks. It's my house, my name on the deed from before marriage. She was pounding on the door, crying, saying we needed to talk. I called the police. Told them my soon-to-be ex-wife was trying to enter my property after being told she couldn't come here. Cops showed up, told her to leave. She tried to play the victim. This is my house. He can't just lock me out. Cop, ma'am, whose name is on the deed? His, but then it's his house. You need to leave. But all my stuff is in there. Cop, you can coordinate with your lawyer to pick up belongings, but you can't show up unannounced. She left, but not before screaming at me that I was destroying her life and she made one mistake. One of the cops looked at me after she left. Sorry you're going through this, man. Divorce is rough. Thanks, just want it over with. The hearing is in 3 weeks. My lawyer says we have a strong case. The photos? The fact that she was unemployed for the last year. She quit her previous job to find herself. And the adultery means I'll likely keep most of my assets. I'll probably still lose some money. Legal fees are piling up. And I'll have to give her something. That's just how it works. But it won't be the 50% she wanted. People keep telling me I'm handling this well. I don't feel like I am. I'm angry, hurt, betrayed. But I'm not going to give her the satisfaction of seeing me fall apart. Update 2. 4 weeks later, court hearing happened 2 days ago. It did not go well for my wife. Let me back up. Between my last update and now, my wife tried several things. Attempt 1. She claimed I was financially abusive during the marriage, and that's why she sought comfort elsewhere. My lawyer had bank statements showing we had separate accounts. I paid the mortgage, utilities, and groceries, about $3,200 per month total. She paid for her car, phone, and personal expenses from her income when she was working. When she quit her job last year, I covered everything without complaint. Financial abuse claim dismissed. Attempt 2, she tried to say the house should be split because she contributed to its value by maintaining it. My lawyer asked for proof of maintenance, receipts for repairs, improvements, anything. She had nothing, because I did all the home repairs myself, I'm a contractor, and paid for any materials. That claim went nowhere. Attempt 3. She claimed the photos were illegally obtained and shouldn't be admissible. My lawyer actually laughed. Your client was photographed in my client's house, in my client's bedroom. There's no expectation of privacy when you're committing adultery in someone else's property. Judge agreed. The hearing itself was wild. My wife showed up dressed like she was going to a funeral. Black dress, minimal makeup, tissues in hand, playing the victim hard. Her lawyer started with the whole "my client made a mistake" angle, talked about how one moment of weakness shouldn't destroy her financial future. Then my lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, I'd like to submit Exhibits A through F. Time-stamped photographs taken by my client when he discovered his wife and her coworker in his bed. These are not blurry, unclear images. These are definitive proof of adultery." The judge reviewed them. His expression went from neutral to disapproving. My wife started crying. Real loud, dramatic sobs. "Judge, ma'am, I understand you're upset, but I need you to compose yourself." Her lawyer tried to minimize it. "A single incident," my lawyer cut in. "Actually, Your Honor, we have evidence this wasn't a single incident. Cell phone records show 328 text messages between my client's wife and her coworker over the past 4 months. Multiple instances of her leaving the house at night, claiming to go to the gym, but location data shows she was at the coworker's apartment. I didn't know my lawyer had pulled cell phone records. Apparently, he subpoenaed them. The look on my wife's face when he read that number, 328 messages, was something. Her lawyer tried to argue that emotional connection isn't the same as ongoing physical affair. My lawyer, "The photos speak for themselves, Your Honor." "Judge, they certainly do." The ruling, "I keep the house." It was mine before marriage anyway. "I keep my 401k, she contributed nothing to it. I keep my business, she was never involved. She keeps her car and takes over the remaining $8,000 in payments. She gets $12,000 from our shared savings account. We had about $24,000 in there. No alimony, due to adultery and short marriage duration. Each of us pays our own legal fees." My wife looked like she'd been slapped. She actually stood up and said, "This isn't fair. I have nothing. Where am I supposed to live?" "Judge, that's not the court's concern, ma'am. You should have considered those consequences before engaging in extramarital affairs." Ruling stands. Outside the courthouse, her sister was waiting. Started yelling at me about how I ruined my wife's life. I didn't ruin anything. She did that herself. She has no job, no money, nowhere to live. And whose fault is that? She cheated, got caught, lost her job because she broke company policy. These are consequences of her choices, not mine. You could have been merciful, given her the house or money to start over. Why would I do that? She threw away 7 years of marriage. She doesn't get a reward for that. Her sister called me a few choice words. I walked to my car and left. Got a text later from an unknown number. My wife, using someone else's phone. "I hope you're happy. You took everything from me." I replied, "I kept what was mine. You took our marriage and threw it away. We're even." Blocked that number too. My lawyer called yesterday. Her lawyer reached out. She wants to negotiate. For what? Judge already ruled. She wants you to buy out her car loan. Says she can't afford the payments. That's not my problem. That's what I told her lawyer. Just wanted you to know. Honestly, I don't feel victorious. I feel tired. This whole process has been exhausting, but I also don't regret how I handled it. I could have fought with her that day, screamed, broken things, made a scene. Instead, I stayed calm, documented everything, and let the legal system handle it. That calm decision protected me. Those photos ensured I didn't lose half of everything I'd worked for. Final update, 6 weeks later. The divorce is finalized. Took about 3 months total from filing to final decree. It's done. A few things have happened since the court hearing. My wife tried one last appeal to the judge. Her lawyer filed a motion claiming new evidence that I was hiding assets and the ruling should be reconsidered. The evidence was that I had a savings account from before we got married that I never told her about. It has about $35,000 in it, money I'd saved for years before even meeting her. My lawyer responded with, "Your Honor, this is a premarital asset. My client was under no obligation to disclose personal savings acquired before the marriage. This is a frivolous motion." Judge denied her motion in about 5 minutes. Also ordered her to pay my legal fees for having to respond to it, about $1,800. She didn't have the money. Her parents ended up paying it. The affair partner's divorce is also finalized. His wife took him for everything. Full custody of the kids, the house, most of his 401k, and alimony. He's living in a studio apartment now and barely scraping by. Turns out my wife thought he had money. He doesn't. The nice car? Leased. The fancy suits? Credit card debt. The guy is broke. So my wife left our marriage for someone who can't even support himself, let alone her. According to mutual friends, the few who still talk to her, she's living with her parents, still unemployed, spending most days in bed watching TV. Some people think I should feel bad for her. I don't. These are the consequences of her choices. But I will say this, I'm not happy she's suffering. I'm not sitting here celebrating her misery. I just don't care anymore. That's not my problem. She's not my problem. As for me, the house feels empty. I'm selling it. Too many memories, and honestly, I want a fresh start. Already accepted an offer, getting about $40,000 more than I paid for it 5 years ago. Business is doing well. Actually landed 3 new contracts this month. Staying busy helps. Started talking to someone. Not dating, just talking. Friend of a friend. She knows the whole story. Says she admires how I handled it. We'll see where it goes. Taking things slow. My ex reached out one final time last week. Her mom called me. She's really struggling. She made a mistake, but she's learned from it. Would you consider helping her out? Maybe give her some money to get back on her feet? No, she's family. She was family. She ended that when she slept with her coworker. Tell her to ask him for money. He doesn't have any. Then I guess she should have thought about that before throwing away a marriage to a man who did. Her mom started to say something else, but I hung up. I know some people reading this think I'm cold. Maybe I am. But here's the truth. I gave that woman 7 years. Supported her when she wanted to quit her job. Paid for everything while she found herself. Never complained, never held it over her head. She repaid that by cheating on me in our bed. I didn't destroy her life. I protected mine. There's a difference. The calm way I handled it, just letting her leave without a fight, wasn't because I didn't care. It was because I cared enough about myself not to waste energy on someone who'd already checked out of our marriage. Those photos I took, that evidence I documented, that saved me from losing half of everything. In a different state, or without proof, I might have lost the house, the business, everything. Instead, I kept what I built. She got what she contributed, which wasn't much. Is that harsh? Maybe, but it's also fair. Some lessons I learned. 1. When someone shows you who they really are, believe them. Don't make excuses, don't rationalize, accept it, and act accordingly. 2. Calm doesn't mean weak. I stayed calm because I knew getting emotional would hurt me legally. That composure protected my assets. 3. Document everything. Those photos, those timestamps, that evidence, that's what won my case. Without it, it would have been he said, she said, and I probably would have lost half of everything. 4. Protect yourself first. I know that sounds selfish, but you have to, because nobody else will. 5. Consequences are not the same as revenge. I didn't set out to destroy her life. I just refused to let her destroy mine. That's different. The divorce cost me about $8,500 in legal fees. I lost $12,000 from our savings. It's been emotionally draining and stressful, but I still have my house, selling for profit, my business, my retirement savings, and my dignity. She has regrets, I guess, and whatever sympathy her parents are willing to provide. Was it worth it? The marriage ending like this? No. I wish it had never happened. I wish she'd been faithful. I wish we'd grown old together like we planned. But given that she cheated, I'm glad I handled it the way I did. I'm glad I didn't beg or plead or try to win her back. I'm glad I documented everything and protected myself. Would I have rather she never cheated? Obviously. But I can't control what she did. I could only control how I responded. And I responded by valuing myself enough not to fight for someone who clearly didn't value me. That's not revenge. That's self-respect. And honestly, that's enough. Time to close this chapter. Time to move forward. Time to build something new. Without her.